Don't make trading more difficult than it needs to be. It's always just going to be difficult to trade because every time you take a trade, you have nearly a coin toss of being wrong. If your stop is too tight, you're going to get wicked out if you don't want large losses. If your stop is too wide, you're going to essentially take too large of losses. If you hold too long, the move might retrace on you. And if you sell too soon, the move might take off continuously without you. So you often feel like there's just no win. You just remember that when you do go in, as long as you're accepting of the risk that you put on the table, just stick to the plan, right? Make trading simple. It doesn't mean you don't have losses. It just means don't make it harder than it needs to be. Follow your trend, wait for a level, and look for reaction. Yeah, reaction will be in your volume. And again, direction of the trend. Is it a reversal or a continuation? Your setups can either be breakouts or flags. Flags are nice because they give you a retest. They give you double confirmation of that level. But oftentimes, the larger move already took place, which was in the breakout. Breakouts are nice because you can have the momentum that swiftly moves away from your entry, but your stop loss becomes a little bit more arbitrary, especially on the NASDAQ, where the wicks don't respect levels all that much. They'll wick through a lot of levels to a point far beyond what you're comfortable with. And so you could reduce your overall win rate if you're always doing breakouts. But if you have a mixture of both, you might be okay. Let's take a look at yesterday, where in the morning I spoke of this rally pullback, probably before a deeper low, since we were in an overall downtrend underneath the EMAs. Now, mid-morning, it started climbing over the 14 EMA here, as well as it stayed above the VWAP. But just looking at how the past couple of days have gone with this double support being broken, I thought, well, possibly we could work our way up to an 800 rejection, or we might likely just fail before open and drop back down, which is what we did. Now, I went through a couple red days, so I wanted to play a lot more strict. I reduced my size down to a third. So instead of trading a full contract, I only traded 3 micros. I just wanted those base hits. I wanted to start getting my cushion, my confidence back after having a couple rough days and over trading and being emotional myself. So I was waiting for the 15-minute breakout. If we look at that yesterday, you can see here, of course, right? You're getting that, almost that FOMO off the bat. Normally, I would have probably taken this low right here on the 1 minute, maybe wrote it down from 471, who knows, 20, 30 points. Maybe I would have been willing to write it down here to the base of this low here. But I didn't. I waited for the 15 as I said I would. I was looking for a breakout with momentum or a retest. So as you can see here, 15 minutes, we went straight down, right? If you look at the volume, I mean, there is just no buyers anywhere in sight. We pulled back, barely made a wick above, and we started drawing down. So 5 minute became my entry on that. So what I looked for is this close here felt like it had good momentum. What I wanted to see was a break of the low of that wick. So I went in right around 50. And then again, because this is a breakout, I could only put my stop above the opening range breakout low. So, I mean, I was nearly wicked out a couple of times. I think I had it at 382.25. I mean, possibly even 381.50. I just said, well, the one scary thing is that we had no green candles from open. Could we get some type of pullback before we drop lower? But that's the thing about breakouts. Breakouts, you're just looking for that momentum. You're saying there's going to be no pullbacks. It's just going to keep going. So I did go in on the bottom of this wick. Now, my initial target, I did have to worry about both the VWAP and the close was right around this area. My dream target was really the lows of the overnight at 094 and then on the Lux Algo opening range break, they'll draw on targets for you. So I had VWAP close 293, and then I had what was essentially low, the overnight low. Now, I really did want that momentum, and as soon as I got in, the bulls started accumulating. They started buying up. You can see they were hanging out. This was a green candle for a very long time. Nearly wicking me out 2 or 3 times before it did start to drop lower. It did start getting some momentum here. Now the close was somewhere in this area around 325, I think. And once it got in here, it was really struggling. I had already had, I think I was around 20 points in. And even though I wanted, that nice 40-point move, I tend to be very comfortable letting my winners go at nearby obstacles. So VWAP close combination, I started trailing it down. Once it broke through VWAP, I brought it just above. It broke through the close. One of the two, I want to say the VWAP was just above the close. Once it got through the close, I stuck it in between the VWAP and the close. It started to wick down, it started to move, and it took me out almost right away. But I was saying, okay, not bad. For a breakout move, 20 points to the downside, fantastic. It only yielded me on that move, I think it was about $100, if I'm not mistaken. So what I was looking for was, now, can I get a retest? So here it did wick on the first level for the opening range breakout through Lux Algo. It started to move its way back up. All right, so now I know the bulls are here. They're starting to build their way back up, but we reject right away at the bottom of the opening range break. Now, with this, I started looking at an immediate buy, only because this body was just too big, right? I didn't want to buy down here at 24 and then have to potentially ride this thing back up to 72. So once we rejected here, it popped up. I jumped in right around 54. Like I say, I'll say it like this: if it can make its way 3/4 down to the body of a candle, it gives me a little bit of confidence, if it's off of a level, that it's going to continue that. So here, what I was really hoping for were equal bottoms. Now, the one thing I noticed was that the bulls were really trying to step up, and then the selling volume was not as strong as the initial breakout. I really wanted, after this retest, I really wanted to see the sellers just completely step up and say, okay, now that we have our confirmation, let's really drive this down. But instead, it broke through the VWAP, again an obstacle. And as it came down, I could already see the volume accumulating in the opposite direction. I saw bulls trying to step up, and so I was now at another, I think, 25 points. I jumped in at 54. I got out somewhere right around 18, and then it did. It went all the way back to 39. Tried to retest again before another failure through the VWAP. Tried to retest again. This is almost a bullish sign here, with the bulls trying to hold this up, and then eventually it went. Now, I was already out. So I was able to secure my day at 45 points, right between the two performance accounts on 3 micros each, a little bit over $500. Not a bad day. I was good with that. 2 wins. I was able to walk away. I got a breakout on the opening range, and I got a retest on the opening range. Now, if you kept going and you kept trading through the day, this is where I got caught up before. On the other day, I saw this break above the 50 EMA last week, and I thought, oh, look, let's test the top of range, and then it flushed on me. And then here we go. We put in a higher low, and it breaks again, and you think, oh, this time the bulls must really have it, and it flushes again. So luckily, I was already done for the day. Even if I had seen these trades, I wasn't going to be a fool and play that twice. I mean, you see the volume really building up well. The sellers did push it down. They failed to push any lower. And then you can kind of start to see the bulls lose steam and give out. And at this point, if you're willing to wait and ride, you'd want to break this range right here, right? You have a low. It retests that low. It flags. And then here, I would say this would have been a great entry right here. If you were standing around in the middle of the day, right, you've broke the range low, you've retested the 14 EMA, and now you're outside that range. You go in under that candle at 56, and then you really do want to try to ride to the low of the day. Let's see if it hit it. Low of day was hit at 09. Yep. 93 was hit right around 315. Now, it would have been a long wait. You're middle of the day, so it's just going to take a lot longer to get there. But had you had the patience and time, that would have been one hell of a play. So again, with an unpredictable market, with knowing that it can go any direction at any time, you're just trying to build patterns with evidence. If that even makes sense, you're just looking for areas of interest. You're trying to stick to the larger time frame of the direction, and you're looking for reactions. That's probably a better way to put it. We're in a downtrend, right? Originally, the level of interest would have been the bottom of the opening range break. Eventually, that interest level would have just turned into a really big box. Right now, you're in this box here. This is where the day is just hanging out, knowing that we're downtrending. So now the interest becomes what happens at the bottom of this. Right? You don't want to automatically sell here unless you can get a break on it. Well, here you do get that break. If you wanted to be really patient, then you do this. Really be patient. You actually let it break, try to retest it, never could make it back up, and then you're going in here at 206. You go at 206, you can still target just the bottom right here to 171. That's a great trade. If you're going to target low and you're going to go for the low a day, you're at 089 or 093. That's a huge 100-point move, looks like. So there is a lot of opportunity based off of just simple patterns, levels, and then the reaction at those levels. And that's all you want to do. Keep it simple, base hits, find your time frame that you like to trade in. For me, it's the morning, even though lately this is what mornings look like. A little bit of a move, a cluster, and then eventual afternoon breakout. It almost seems like the best trades may even be late afternoon right now. And what I will say is, again, when you have big moves in the overnight, oftentimes you don't get big moves in the morning. That's not the case every time, but as of late, if you get a big rally or if you get a big sell-off, sometimes you open and the day just doesn't really go anywhere. If you have these days where it's just straight across, not a lot of movement, sitting around point of control, then you can sometimes get those big moves right off the bat, which is really ideal for an early morning momentum trader. So, good green day, nice recovery. I'm looking for the same thing today. Got to be patient, wait for the 15-minute range to either break or retest, and then go from there. Right now, it looks like if we go back, we did have that rally pullback. We sold off to make a lower low in the day as well as the overnight. However, now we've just been sitting right around the point of control from yesterday. Really, we've been sitting there since, all night. Really a couple of hours after open, we've just been at point of control. So this is a morning where we could get a clean breakaway one direction or the other. I will be looking for shorts unless, right? I suppose realistically, if we can get over yesterday's high a day and break out over yesterday's overnight high, hold that structure and retest, sure. I think we could be retesting these old supports up here at 800. Otherwise, I'll probably just be patient and be looking for another setup for short today and see how far down we can go. All right. Questions, comments, leave them below. I'll be happy to answer them. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.